First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Just the nature of building a road causes disruption.
But one concerned Gainesville resident is asking at what cost. There are serious concerns about the dust and the chemicals in it at one spot in Gainesville. That's our top story tonight. I'm Jenna Sands.
And I'm James Torres. Thanks for joining us. Laura Barrero now joins us in the studio with more on those environmental concerns. Laura.
Well, the city is counting on county experts to determine the extent of the problem. People who live near 6th Street and Depot Avenue are used to the dust from a cement plant, and now things are worse because of construction. There's no doubt there's a lot of dust. The question is whether it's dangerous. The construction will be a factor for a while, and they're building a roundabout at that intersection, which could take up to 3 months to complete. Laura Barrero, WUFT News.
All right, Laura, thank you. We do apologize for those technical difficulties. Meanwhile, a community rally today to honor a Florida man killed by an off-duty police officer. Corey Jones was killed by a plainclothes Palm Beach Gardens officer early Sunday morning. The attorneys say they know the officer fired 6 rounds and didn't have a badge on him. Attorneys also said Corey Jones, who was armed at the time of the incident, never fired his gun. The family got a few pieces of the puzzle, but say there are still more questions than answers.
We just left a meeting with State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg. Still a lot of questions. You have to ask a serious question that when a person, a plainclothes police officer with no badge and who shoots someone, it draws many questions.
This morning, residents who support the family's search for more answers protested peacefully outside the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department.
We had a very warm and dry day today.
That's right. It looks like it might continue throughout the night. UF forecaster Rebecca Copeland joins us now from the Weather Center with more. Rebecca.
It was dry for most of us today, but for you two, it was a little soggy. James and Jenna participated in a dunk tank today. It was for charity for UF's campaign for charity, so definitely a nice cause, but our anchors there got a little wet today. For across North Florida right now, mostly dry, just a few little tiny showers. That's really been the story for today, and for the rest of the evening, going to remain that way. Outside the University of Florida's campus, just a beautiful sight. A few clouds out there, temperatures in the 80s, and there's a light wind right now. It's calmed down a bit in Gainesville, just at 9 miles an hour, but the winds are still elevated along the coast at 17 and 18 miles an hour in St. Augustine and Jacksonville. By morning, though, there could be some fog in the area that could develop in the overnight hours. And by morning, similar to this morning, there could be some patchy fog. The denser fog will likely be near the Swanee River Valley and will burn off by about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, through the night, just a few clouds in the sky. They'll start to clear a bit. Temperatures will fall to 70 degrees by 10 o'clock into the low 60s by morning. Back to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. A Volusia County Sheriff's deputy who shot and killed a man in March will not face charges after a grand jury decided against indicting him. Chris Hush reports.
Hurts. It shouldn't have happened the way it did in my heart. It shouldn't have happened.
Derek Cruz's mother reacts to the decision just made by a grand jury. No criminal charges against the Volusia County deputy who shot and killed her son as a warrant was served at a home he was in.
I just want it to be made right.
It was an incident that nobody wanted to happen.
After Volusia County State Attorney R.J. Larrizza made the announcement, West 2 obtained the more than 700-page FDLE investigation outlining what happened in March when Deputy Todd Rabel shot Derek Cruz, who was unarmed. More than 25 people were interviewed, deputies, those in the home, and other witnesses. In an interview, Deputy Rabel says a narcotics task force knocked on the door of this Deltona home. One person came out. Then someone inside the home slammed the door shut and locked it. After deputies kicked the door down, Rabel says Cruz moved aggressively and fast toward him. Rabel shot him in the face when he thought Cruz had a gun. Another deputy behind Cruz told investigators he would have shot Cruz if Rabel wasn't in the way because he too thought Cruz had a firearm. Deputy Rabel goes on to say when he found out Cruz was unarmed, he fell to the ground, overcome with emotions.
Make a wrong right.
Attorney Mark Niejames says Cruz's family will file a civil case regardless. Sheriff Ben Johnson released this statement Wednesday saying clearly the outcome of this incident was unfortunate, but the deputy's actions weren't criminal.
And in Tampa, police say burglars smashed a hole in the outside wall of a gun store early this morning and made off with dozens of guns. The burglary took place at about 1:30 a.m. at Shooting Sports. And in the surveillance video, you can see three suspects in dark clothing entering the store. Police say the suspects shattered the display cases, stealing at least 42 guns, and investigators are still looking for the suspects. The Florida woman whose 11-year-old daughter has been missing for more than a year was back in court today, but she still wouldn't provide any information about her daughter's whereabouts. Kishana Thomas appeared before a judge this morning on a contempt of court charge, one that was filed against her after she refused to say where her daughter Jania was. Thomas refused to talk in court again today. Investigators believe it was Jania's body that was found inside a locked freezer at a relative's house on Sunday, but there's been no positive identification just yet. A preliminary autopsy didn't confirm the identity, so police say further medical tests are still needed before a positive ID can be made. Relatives say Thomas showed up at their home with the locked freezer. They became suspicious and broke the lock, only to discover a body inside. And a deadly workplace accident at one of Florida's top universities leaves questions for policemen. Police officers in Tallahassee are investigating a fatality at Florida State University. An employee of the National High Magnetic Field Laboratory at FSU died while working on a magnet construction project. Another employee suffered minor injuries.
I actually haven't left the building since I was made aware of the accident a few hours ago, so I really haven't had a chance to see what the community reaction is. Certainly inside this building, it's obvious that a lot of people are in shock. They're just really distraught.
The MagLab website says its high-level research is recognized internationally, and further details of the accident has not yet been released.
And sweet sounds of music will be coming to the Ocala community.
That's right. The new home of the Ocala Symphony Orchestra, the Riley Arts Center, opens tomorrow night with an already sold-out performance. WUFT's Taylor Trichet joins us now in the studio with all the details. Taylor.
Well, James and Jenna, this is certainly a much-needed facility in the Ocala community. A dream for one Ocala music director has finally come to life, and tomorrow he can share it with the Ocala community. The noise of construction has come to an end, and in its place, a new sound begins to form. After construction began on the Riley Arts Center 7 months ago, opening day is now here, and excitement is in the air.
It's a different venue, so I mean, I think it's exciting to be in a new building, and again, a building that's it's made for groups like this.
The Riley Arts Center will become the home of the Ocala Symphony Orchestra, where they'll rehearse and perform. And today is the first time they could practice in their new home, a major upgrade from their last one.
The Ocala Symphony used to play was a venue that was designed to auction off horses, which we loved being there. It was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it wasn't meant for music. It wasn't meant for those type of performances. So to say it's an upgrade is kind of an understatement. It's really just getting something that our community needs. So we're excited.
The Riley Arts Center has been 3 years in the making. And after months of construction, guests can finally walk through these doors and enjoy a night of music. Today, Wardell and crew spent the day putting finishing touches in preparation for tomorrow's opening night. And what started as an idea for Wardell years ago has finally come to life.
I don't have children, but I feel like now I'm about to have one, and in this process of being here every day and picking out little things and seeing it all come together, it's like I'm extremely proud of the building, and I can't wait for other people to be proud of what they have. So it's emotional and it's nice.
Aside from being a home to the Ocala Symphony Orchestra, the facility also looks to host other groups and venues as well. Later this month, it will feature a finalist from Last Comic Standing and more.
Taylor, thank you. Well, WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, kids are embracing a new trend. Find out how it's costing parents a lot more money after the break.
Plus, prepare for more sneezing and runny noses. The allergy index is rising. Those health stories and more coming up after the break.
And it's been pretty much a beautiful week across North Florida, but will it last through this weekend? I'll be tracking and break it down for you coming up after the break. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. Online videos showing how to straighten your teeth at home have exploded recently and have caused huge medical problems for people who try it.
That's right. There are thousands of videos online showing how to use rubber bands, paper clips, even the backs of earrings to serve as do-it-yourself braces. WUFT's Marie Edinger joins us live from the newsroom. Marie, you spoke with experts today to see these videos. How big of a problem is this?
James and Jenna, these videos have gone viral. Some have nearly 1 million views on YouTube. It's gotten so bad the American Association of Orthodontists put out a consumer alert warning against the practice. Dentists and orthodontists are horrified. Dr. Enrique Vargas is an orthodontist in Gainesville. That's him. He's dressed today for Halloween. Dr. Vargas says leaving the bands or wires on your teeth can create plaque traps that cause decay. If your teeth are forced to move too quickly, you can cause major damage.
The rubber band will keep constricting, and so because the tooth tapers up, it will go up to the apex or the tip of the tooth and actually will extrude, which is bring out the tooth, and eventually will extract the tooth. The tooth will come completely out of the socket.
Many kids are self-conscious about gaps between their teeth, but are reluctant to ask for braces because of the costs. So one of the draws of the do-it-yourself method is that braces can be pretty expensive. Something like this can run you $4,500 or $5,500. The irony is, getting an implant and crown to fix a lost tooth costs about the same. A patient who just got her braces off says she saw the videos, but was too scared to actually try the method.
I mean, some of the videos, yeah, they got results, but some of them, they regretted that they even did it because their teeth, like, messed up. It didn't look good.
The American Association of Orthodontists Consumer Report warns moving teeth is a medical procedure and needs personal supervision by an orthodontist.
Unfortunately, some things can be irreplaceable damage, irreparable damage, something that's forever.
The AAO asks that people be wary of internet videos and consult a medical professional for any concern about your teeth. Most orthodontists give free consultations and say an hour of your time finding out options will hurt a lot less than trying to get results following those videos. Reporting from the newsroom, Marie Ettinger, WUFT News.
See, I had braces when I was younger for like 2 years, and I would never imagine trying something like that. So, Marie, good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll get some more health news now with our reporter, Danielle Prince.
Well, dental care is important throughout the entire year, but especially for children right now. With Halloween right around the corner, students at PK Young Developmental Research School are learning to keep their teeth cavity-free. Youth Tooth is an event hosted by the University of Florida American Dental Association. Pre-dental volunteers travel to schools around Alachua County to educate elementary students on the proper ways to maintain a healthy mouth. The students rotate through different stations that show them how to brush and floss and what to expect at a dental office. One member of the UFA-SDA says kids don't always know they should visit a dentist twice a year.
I realize that a lot of them don't actually go to the dentist. They go to the doctor, but they forget about the other part, and the oral cavity is the entranceway to the whole entire body. So I try to relay that information. Please go to the dentist.
The hope is that after these workshops, students can go home empowered to be an advocate for good practices at home for the whole family. Painted and carved pumpkins are a common sight on front porches at this time of the year, but some aren't just for decoration. If you notice any brightly colored teal pumpkins, there's a special reason. Teal is the color for food allergy awareness, and homes with those pumpkins will have non-food gifts and allergy-safe treats on Halloween night. This project was started last year by a nonprofit food allergy and education research group. Kids with serious food allergies have to be very careful, so as the campaign spreads, teal pumpkin homes will keep those kids from missing out on the fun of trick-or-treating. When people think of fall, they often are reminded of activities like watching football or baking their favorite treats. But many people know this season as bringing a lot of sneezing and runny noses. Fall allergy triggers are different than the blooms of spring and summer. During the fall, ragweed and pollen are in the air all throughout the United States.
Right now, the fall allergens are terrible. The weed season is in bloom right now with the ragweed, and all the pollens have been really high in the air.
If your allergies are triggered in the fall, symptoms such as nasal congestion, postnasal drip, and stopped-up ears are all too familiar. To keep your allergies in check, doctors suggest flushing out your nose with a saline rinse and taking over-the-counter meds such as Zyrtec. If symptoms such as headaches and fever arise, it's time to see a doctor. New research is suggesting kids who frequently take antibiotics may gain weight faster than those who have never used them. Researchers in Australia studied more than 150,000 medical records from children between the ages of 3 and 18. 1 in 5 have been prescribed antibiotics 7 or more times. By the age of 15, those children weighed about 3 pounds more than kids who have never taken antibiotics. Researchers are saying the drugs may wipe out the healthy bacteria in the body and change how food is absorbed. So sometimes too much of a good thing can actually be bad, even when it comes to killing bacteria.
Yeah, I mean, we've got several different bacteria when I was a child, and I feel like that's just not going to change because it's always a concern for parents. So it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, antibiotics to me are definitely worth the actual wait. Thanks, Danielle. And very little rain in north central Florida today, but a good amount of heat.
Definitely, certainly not a day for the long sleeves, but it was still a beautiful day in North Florida. And Rebecca, any idea when we might see some cooler weather again?
There aren't any really big changes coming in the next 6 days, but by the end of your my 6-day forecast, there is a chance for rain, which does signal some changes on the way. For right now, still, we're in that nice pattern. There were just a few tiny showers out there for this afternoon, but we're largely dry on Storm Track radar and we'll be staying dry for the night. Over the University of Florida's campus right now, mostly clear skies, temperature of 81 degrees and looking beautiful out there. There's also a light breeze. That's been making it feel quite comfortable outside. I mean, those temperatures are a little bit warm, so the wind in Gainesville right now about 9 miles an hour, a little bit lighter than it was earlier in the day, but along the East Coast, they're still in the teens over there. The winds will start to calm down though, and as they do, some fog may develop by morning, especially for areas near and west of I-75 and near the Swanee River Valley is where there could be some denser fog, but you want to take some precautions on the roadways regardless if there is any of that fog along I-75 in the morning as you head out for work, but most of it will be lifting by about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. For the rest of the night, temperatures are going to be falling through the 70s to 70 degrees by 10 o'clock and into the 60s. We'll be in the low 60s across North Florida by morning. Now, it's been so nice outside because high pressure is in control, and even though it's weakening, it's still going to be staying in control for this weekend, but it's going to continue to provide that onshore flow that leads to a few showers along the East Coast, and that will likely be the story tomorrow. I don't think we'll have much activity making it inland, but there could be a few showers along the East Coast in the afternoon. Temperatures warm for inland locations in the low to mid 80s across the area, and even though this model is showing a few showers moving inland, I really don't think it's going to happen. I think some drier air is going to take over, so we're not really going to have to worry about carrying those umbrellas. Not really going to have to worry about them for the weekend either. A few coastal showers will still be possible as high pressure is going to stay in control and prevent some moisture from moving in to our area, but not so lucky for areas in the southern plains and over in Texas where there could be a lot of tropical moisture with a low pressure system moving through that could bring some significant rainfall and possibly some flooding over the next couple of days, but we stay really largely dry all the way through this weekend. The rainfall totals, though, could really pile up in portions of Texas, possibly resulting in upwards of 9 to 10 inches of rain near Dallas and other areas of Texas. Could have some flash flooding out there, so hopefully folks are staying safe and hopefully that rainfall doesn't last too long. For us, no significant rainfall in the next 5 days, and most of it, if it does accumulate, will likely be along the East Coast, so not too much of a worry for us, and really not a big worry in the next couple of days through your 6-day forecast either, but there is a little change coming up. For your Friday, just to recap, there could be some patchy fog in the morning. Temperatures will be increasing throughout the day, will be largely dry, could be a few of those coastal showers, a few clouds may build in, temperature just about 83 degrees. For the weekend, looking pretty nice. Temperatures just a little above average during the day and in the overnight hours. Otherwise, just a few clouds, really no chance for rain. But when I step out of the way, start to see some changes. We've gone about 2 weeks now without much rainfall, but the next chance for rain could be coming by Wednesday with our next front. Back to you.
All right, Rebecca, and thanks for those photos. Now, Jen and I have something to put on Instagram later. Well, there was a lot made out of Florida's football open tryouts to try to find a new kicker.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely found someone for the job, and Connor Ingalls joins us now.
That's right. Reports are Florida has found a new kicker. Coming up, we'll tell you who he is and why you may have already heard of him. Plus, Florida soccer hosts South Carolina tonight in a huge SEC match. WUFT's Ben Murphy will join us live from James G. Presley Stadium. All of that and more in sports after the break. Only 3 more games left on the regular season slate for Florida soccer, and tonight may be the most important. Welcome back to sports. I'm Connor Ingalls. The Gators take on South Carolina at 7. We bring in WFT soccer beat reporter Ben Murphy to break down this big conference matchup. Ben, What does tonight's game mean for Florida?
Well, Connor, there's a three-way tie atop the SEC standings. Florida, Missouri, and Florida's opponent tonight, South Carolina, all sit in first place in the SEC. The Gamecocks and the Gators have yet to meet this season, so the winner of tonight's game between Florida and South Carolina could decide who is crowned the SEC regular season champion. So it is a big game tonight.
So obviously it's going to be a tough one for Florida. Ben, who do you see being the difference maker in tonight's game?
Well, when you look at both of these teams, Florida, South Carolina, obviously they're good. They're both in first place in the SEC, but the difference maker is that the SEC's leading scorer will be on the field tonight. Florida's Savannah Jordan has been dominant. 14 goals in 15 games is pretty good if you ask me. So if it is the Gators who come out on top tonight, expect Florida's Savannah Jordan to be the difference in the game. She's really just been successful all year. And tonight, also, the first 500 fans to come out to James G. Presley Stadium will receive one of these. It's an awesome Florida Gator scarf. Yeah, so come out, come one all, get a scarf. It's going to be a great time out here at the soccer field. Reporting from James G. Presley Stadium, Ben Murphy, WUFT Sports.
Man, hopefully I have enough time to head out there. Those scarves looked cool. Thanks, Ben. For Becky Burley's 13th ranked Gators, kicking the ball is a non-issue. Something you expect out of a soccer team, but that's not the case for Jim McElwain's Gator football team, where kicker, specifically the lack of depth at the position, has become a major concern for Florida. As a result of starting kicker George Powell's injury against LSU, the Gators held open tryouts yesterday looking to add a place kicker to their roster, and it looks like they found their man. According to Gainesville High School, former Purple Hurricanes kicker Dallas Stubbs has been awarded the backup job. This is actually Stubbs' second stint with the Gators. He was also a walk-on in 2013 as a redshirt sophomore under Will Muschamp, but was cut from the team after 1 year. And the starting job still belongs to Austin Hardin, at least for the moment. The issue with Hardin is that he isn't quite back up to full health. He's still recovering from a hip flexor he suffered a month back. Nonetheless, McElwain said yesterday he expects Hardin to be ready for the Gators game against Georgia next Saturday. Florida baseball fans, get ready. If you want a Gator baseball fix for the fall, this is your moment. Last year's SEC tournament champs return to the Diamond today for their second team scrimmage of fall ball practice at McKeithen Stadium. Scrimmages taking place can only mean one thing. The season is just around the corner. The Gators are less than 4 months away from returning. They open up their 2016 campaign at home on February 19th with game 1 of a 3-game series against Florida Gulf Coast. Major League Baseball games have a little more riding on them at the moment with postseason action continuing. I'm sure you heard yesterday was Back to the Future Day. In the franchise's second film, Marty McFly arrives on October 21st, 2015, and on that day the Cubs win the World Series. So the thought was that surely this had to be a sign that the Cubbies could turn it around in the face of a 3-0 series deficit against the New York Mets. Well, yesterday was a reminder that Hollywood endings don't typically come true in the real world. It didn't take long for the dream to die in Chi-Town. Top of the first, Lucas Duda gets the Mets on the board. 3-run home run out to center field, and New York is up 3-0. Daniel Murphy in the clubhouse getting hype. Next batter, Travis Denard exits to left as the Mets go back-to-back. And that would be all the offense New York needed, but they do throw on some more runs just to make it fun. 8-3 in the ninth now. Jairus Familia gets Dexter Fowler looking, and that right there sends the Mets to the World Series. New York sweeps the Cubs, and they'll get some time off as they await the winner of the ALCS. And speaking of the ALCS, wow, check out that timing. What are the odds? The Blue Jays were facing elimination yesterday against Kansas City. Troy Tulowitzki eliminates any existing base runners with this double, brings in not 1, not 2, but wait for it, 3 runs. Toronto takes a 5-0 lead. Tulowitzki with those scary eyes. Halloween's still a few days away. That would provide more than enough cushion for the Jays, who take it 7-1. Game 6 is Friday in KC. And guys, some breaking news from earlier today. Percy Harvin, former Florida Gator, isn't going to travel with the Buffalo Bills to London, so he has a hip injury. People said that might make him retire. ESPN later came out and refuted those reports, but still something to keep an eye on.
Such a shame. He's such a talented player, and it seems like he just can't stay on the field. So.
Yeah, let's hope he can get back in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Connor. And before we go, one last check on the weather.
Here's Rebecca.
Still mostly clear out there, a beautiful night tonight, and because of the clear skies, the temperatures will fall even faster. We're at 81 right now, but those temperatures will likely be falling quickly. By morning, though, there could be some fog developing in the overnight hours, and as you head out to work in the morning, you want to take some precautions on the roadways, especially near and west of I-75, where there could be some denser fog, likely lifting, though, by about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Tonight, temperatures falling, as I mentioned, to 70 degrees by 10 o'clock, and afternoon, down into the low 60s by morning under mostly clear skies and just a light breeze. For your weekend, beautiful looking weekend. Clear skies for Friday, a few clouds on Saturday and Sunday, mostly dry. Next chance for rain comes on Wednesday. Back to you.
Rebecca, thank you. We'll be back tomorrow at 5, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.
And here on WUFT TV, BBC World News is coming up next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7 o'clock. Have a good night.